Welcome back to Morning Line. Nick Beres here along with NewsChannel 5 Chief Meteorologist Lelan Statom. We're doing the morning program on Hurricane Ian as it's making its way to the Florida coast. And it's a big story, not just down there where it's obviously biggest, but for all of us here as well. We have friends and loved ones down here. It's a vacation spot. We have fall break coming up.
Yes.
We have folks going down there. Red Cross. We had one of our callers, Granger, set to go there. And a lot of the evacuees are likely going to end up here. And I'm telling you, just my take on this, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad. And we always say this, you know, with certain hurricanes, but this one's really building up to be a serious situation. And to give you an idea, we have some amazing video from a Twitter feed from Bayshore Drive. This is in Tampa. Now, this is where the water, Leland, has been sucked out of this bay.
Yes.
Ahead of the storm surge. What are we seeing here?
It's always interesting because you've got the storms and the winds around this that are wrapping and pulling the water in one direction and then pulls the water back in a different direction. So depending upon which side of the storm you happen to be on, it can, in essence, pull the water, suck the water out of the Bay Area. And so
I mean, if you see that right now, you don't want to go out there and start clamming.
No.
No, meaning don't go beach combing out there where all of a sudden the water, because this is a sign. What this means is that surge is coming.
Yeah, so you've got the storm coming in, and so the water is being pulled in a certain direction.
By the gravitational pull of the hurricane.
Yeah, so being pulled away from it, being pulled out of the bay, but that water will come back in as the storm continues to make its way
I
in.
think that is eerie.
No, I mean, really is,
because you know, think about it. You're driving across you're used to seeing a lot of water there in Tampa, and all of a sudden that water is gone. You're like, what's going on?
What's
and you know,
up with this?
This is a warning. So, meaning when that surge comes, and this camera is showing this, and I think it's an automated camera. No one's sitting there doing it, obviously, but it's a great shot. You don't want to be anywhere near there.
No.
So
no,
that surge could be, what, up to 10 feet coming across that wall?
Coming across that wall, I have to go back and look and see what they're looking for in the Tampa area on storm surge, but I think in that region 6 to 10 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's just eerie to see that. While you check that, let's take another phone call. We'll go to Johnny. Johnny, good morning. Hi, Johnny.
Good morning, Nick and Leland.
Good morning.
I've got a question for Leland. I'm headed to Jacksonville, Florida, Tuesday evening to. I've been going to the Mayo to get worked up for a heart transplant, and I'm just trying to take all the precautions I can. What do you expect it? I know you don't have a crystal ball, but
let me ask you this: are you planning on driving there or flying there?
Be driving.
Okay. All right, no crystal ball. And listen, I'll say this. I remember after the last hurricane, my wife actually had to go back down there because when these storms hit, oftentimes lots of animals are displaced. She works with Animal Rescue Corps as a volunteer. And they went down to rescue a lot of these animals because the shelters were overrun with animals that had gone stray after the storm hit. Well, the drive, okay, when everyone's heading back after the storms hit, it took her like 12 hours to get from here to Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and so, I mean, it was like a 24-hour drive.
A 4-hour drive,
Right, to get all the way down there. So for someone like him, especially, you know, getting prepped up for a heart transplant, maybe flying, but the drive, what do you think come Tuesday, weather-wise, but he needs to consider, once the weather's cleared, all these evacuees are going to be heading back. Will they already be back by then, or will the traffic? I mean, the traffic, my wife said she had never seen anything like it. Think about it, again, almost 8 to 12 hours to get to Atlanta from here, because it was just bumper to bumper.
Yeah, and I missed the city. Which city did you say he was headed to?
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. All right, so with Jacksonville, the storm is probably going to be a tropical storm status because it will come into Florida, die down a little bit, go back into the Atlantic, and then curve back in.
Tuesday when he'll be going. That's that far down.
Right now there is a look at the map, so you can see where by 2 a.m. Friday it looks like it's out to sea near Jacksonville, and then by 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon pushing toward the coastline of Georgia and South Carolina near Savannah, and then by 2 a.m. on Saturday it's north of Charleston there. So with that forecast for the weekend, he would be fine for something Monday, Tuesday. Again, you just need to make sure that from a Jacksonville standpoint that there isn't much damage and that the hospital and everything else is on track and they aren't overrun with maybe damage or injuries from other folks. But with that forecast, the Jacksonville area would be in good shape Monday, Tuesday, but he just needs to kind of check ahead to make sure, again, is there damage down there? Is the hospital overrun due to injuries from elsewhere in the state?
Great point. So even after the storm is already passed and the hurricane's gone, you just have to remember, all right, yeah, the weather may have cleared, but one, I talked about the traffic, so keep that in mind. But two, I mean, it's the aftermath. There's going to be, that's where it really hits home.
Yeah.
After it passes Tampa and what we just showed there, you know they're going to get hammered. Who knows what's going to be left of that part of the city after the storm makes its way through.
And sometimes you don't know the clear impact until the storm is passed, because even when the storm is going on, sometimes you can't get those aerial shots. You may see damage here or there, but until there are aerial shots, the true magnitude may not be known until the storm is passed, and then folks can get up and get an aerial lay of the land.
I think Johnny needs to call down and touch bases with that hospital as it gets close.
Exactly.
Just say, what do you think? And then check on traffic, see what the damage is like. But check before you hop in the car to head that way.
Right.
Let's go to Linda. Linda, good morning. Hi, Linda.
Good morning, Nick and Lelan.
Good morning.
Lelan, I want you to tell Yolanda hello for me. We work together. I think you know who I am.
All right.
Try to make this quick. If you haven't tried on the YouTube, try Ryan Hall, y'all. If you haven't checked him out, he is fantastic with the weather. He's going to be back on with his storm chasers. This probably 11 or 12 today, doing all of this, and he was fantastic during all the winter storms and the tornadoes that have happened. But anybody else listening, try Ryan Hall, y'all, on YouTube.
Okay.
You'll be amazed, and if you don't have anything to do, I love watching him. So good morning to y'all, and thanks, Lelan, for your coverage, and thanks, Nick, for all of your coverage of everything around. So
appreciate it.
All I have to say. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it is. This is the big story everywhere, and we were talking about the surge in Tampa, and I think Rick has found a graphic that kind of talks about just how high this storm surge may be, and I don't know if take a look at that.
So there you go. So if you see the area in red, that area in red, about 7 to 11 feet. Just north of it in purple, 12 to 16 feet.
12 to 16 feet.
12 to 16 feet. So think a two-story building it would be higher than a two-story building at that point, or nearly as high. Now, the place that we were looking at the video a moment ago, in the Tampa area, part of it 6 to 10, another part of it looks like Tampa Bay has a storm surge of 4 to 6 feet. So again, where we saw all of that water being pulled out, with a storm surge of, what would he say, 4 to 6 feet?
Yeah.
At 4 feet, it would be up to just under our necks, Nick.
Right.
At 6 feet, it would be over our head.
Now, when you say surge, just so maybe you can kind of describe it. I know what you mean, but is this a sustained wall of water? You see, say, that 16 feet is terrifying. And you look up and you see this wall of 16 foot of water just coming toward you like a giant wave.
Yeah.
But you're on dry land, and it's coming your way. Once it hits you, and you get obliterated, and it keeps going, how long is it before it settles down? Is that a sustained 16-foot wall of water making its way into the city before it starts dissipating?
Yeah, part of it can be. It depends upon where you're at and how close you are to the area. So again, it's that water that's rising. So don't necessarily think of it as this huge wall of water 10 feet high coming at you. Think of it as the storm is coming in, the storm surge is rising.
Got you.
All right, but then it's 10 feet high, and it's there and it's beating against things that are against the beach, or sometimes after these things are done, you see a barge that's a mile or so inland, and you think, how did the barge get a mile or so inland? It wasn't the winds that picked it up, it rode that wave of water on that storm surge inland.
It literally floated it.
And it floated it, basically.
Take a break on that note. We'll come back. Our final segment with Lelan. We'll have more video to show you as we continue to track Hurricane Ian and as it's making its way to the Florida Gulf Coast sometime later today. Big story. We'll be back right after this.